And welcome to game number 1. The players in this are going to be StarTale RainBow against PuCK. We see in the top right here, RainBow is playing as the red Terran, and in the bottom left, PuCK is playing as the blue Protoss.
Yes, and this is Pool, and as you were just hearing, that was Cynics, his beautiful, beautiful voice. Big fan of you, Cynics, I gotta say. But
Oh, well, thank you.
yeah, for those of you that don't know, this is Devolution, which was actually created by Iron Man SC. Am I right, or is it Baron that made this one?
No, it was Iron Man.
Okay,
no, sorry, it was Baron. It was
yeah.
Baron who made this one.
Okay, so it was Baron. So shout out to Baron for making this awesome map. This is actually, I believe, the first map that we used to test out FRB, and I probably played about 10 games on this one before trying any other one, so it's a really good one. For those of you that don't know the map, I'll just go ahead and show it to you real quick. We see, obviously, RainBow's natural here, and then a ramp leading down to where his expansion will be eventually, and then of course you go up here to a third and whatnot. So that's just kind of the general layout of the first 3 bases. But something we should highlight, do you see the chat right now?
Yes, I do. We had been trying to contact RainBow and let him know more about the FRB Grand Tournament. He had talked to us and expressed his interest in it, and we were trying to make sure beforehand, like, you know that this is a variant, right? That this has less minerals and stuff like that. And I'm just worried he didn't quite get it up till this point. And so,
right.
as you can see in the chat right now, he's just like laughing, but he says, so fun. And so we are going to have to see. He does not have any experience hopping into this game right now. It's going to be all of his skill playing against PuCK's preparation.
Yeah, so I tried to talk to him, and I swear, I tried so hard to communicate to him. I was like, do you know what FRB is? Do you understand that it's fewer resources? And like, I just couldn't get anything out of him. Just language barrier obviously preventing that, but hopefully he'll adjust. As we can see here, he is going for his gas first. For those of you that don't know, it is a rich Vespian geyser, so that means you're going to be getting more gas per trip, but there is only one of them. So in the end, you won't have as much gas in that base, but you will have more at the beginning.
You can also see how the player's kind of experience on this map is already differentiating a little bit. RainBow has thrown all 3 guys into gas, which means he's going to have an absolute unbelievable amount of gas because of just how much is returned per trip, whereas his opponent has only tossed, or well, actually, he did have 2 in a moment ago. He now has all 3, which means that he was just getting some gas and not really going for any kind of gas-type play. And it's an unfortunate mistake that a lot of new players on this map make to just kind of throw 3 guys in the gas by habit and end up with like 400 or 500 gas that they actually really don't have the ability to spend.
Yeah, most definitely. So it does look like RainBow has stockpiled up about 160 right now, so he is going for a Marauder, so that's going to use a little bit of it, and he might actually end up going for a concussive shell. I think this might just be some early aggression from RainBow, or he could just be chilling with Marauders. Obviously, they'll be really, excellent defensive units if our Protoss player does try to come in with maybe like a Zealot and Stalker. Definitely be a lot more effective than just like one Marine standing there.
Yes, absolutely. And right now we do see that both players are going for pretty early expands, though PuCK expanded much more aggressively. He is very familiar with this variant, and so has been playing a lot of games on it, and knows how important it is to get up just as many expansions as possible. Like pretty much any kind of all-in that you try to do off of just your main is going to be severely weakened and very, very difficult to end up transitioning out of.
Yeah, so it does look like we see RainBow going ahead and doing a little bit of poking around. He's got a Marauder and Marine. He's going to go check out what PuCK does have. He might actually pick up a kill here. He hasn't researched anything. No concussive shell or stem or shield, of course, so he is going to be moving in here with this SCV to see exactly what he's going to be up against. It actually turns around right there, but he's going to be waiting for his second Marauder, and he might do a little bit of damage here. PuCK really doesn't have anything. Yeah, he really needs that sentry to come out, actually, to help end this defense.
Yeah, right now there is just the 1 gateway up with 2 more being warped in. However, warp gate research isn't done, and so this push is going to be actually pretty effective. The Stalker going down quite quickly. 1 force field doing a pretty good job, particularly with that probe pole trapping that Marauder, and that sentry that you just mentioned was able to come in and tickle beam it to death, though the second Marauder has shown up, and there's still the Marine alive.
Yeah, that was actually excellent micro there by our Protoss player. With his probes and that force field, he has managed to trap that Marauder and kill it really effectively. Of course, now he is going to, RainBow rather, is going to be pushed out a little bit by these probes. And I must say, as a Terran player, probes do so much damage to Marauders. It's actually really scary. Because you just can't kill them very quickly, and then they just eat you alive. So, of course, they can get really good surface area, of course, against Marauders. So, I'm sorry for interrupting.
With a good surround. No, not at all. With a good surround, probe and just general worker pulls can be quite effective for early defense in FRB maps, just because your opponent won't have quite as many units to use. Where you can usually afford like about 3 or 4 gateways, as an example, in an ordinary game of StarCraft 2, you can probably only afford about 2 if you're planning on expanding, and 3 if you're doing an all-in. And so Rainbow was able to get in and do a pretty good job there of equalizing the economic disadvantage he was at by forcing probes off the line, getting a couple kills, and just generally getting time for his own expansion to get up.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's really going to help him see exactly what, or not exactly what, but a little bit of what his Protoss opponent's doing. You know, if PuCK were to go for a 4-gate, Rainbow would definitely have known by the end of the attack that he did. So I like that build. I like that opener a lot, actually. So it does look like we see currently 4 barracks for Rainbow. He has not chosen to go for a factory or anything yet. He's sticking with 2 tech labs and 2 reactors, so he's going to have a ton of Marines when he does decide to push. And it does actually look like Stim is finished. He's also getting his 1 attack upgrade, so that's almost finished. And he might actually go for an attack here with combat shield timing. We're just going to have to see how that one plays out.
He is going to need to be careful, though, because we do see that PuCK is going for a very fast charge for his Zealots in addition to the 1 armor upgrade. When you have a large number of charged Zealots, so he actually, looking at the unit tab, only has 1 Zealot out right now, they're able to deal a lot of damage until you get a kind of critical mass of Marines and Marauders that you can be constantly kiting back, and the Zealots can't quite get good surrounds. But as we see more Zealots being warped in, he should be able to take this 3rd base that he has already planted down without too much of an additional problem. So the pressure will definitely be on Rainbow to get in there and take advantage of the Stim combat shield tech advantage that he has earned himself.
Yeah, I really think that our Protoss player needs to be careful. There's going to be definitely a timing where Rainbow can do some damage, but all in all, I don't think he'll actually be able to run over PuCK just with this attack that he's doing. But we'll see. Maybe Rainbow will have some like Gosu micro or something here. So combat shield is almost finished. It will be actually finished by the time that he goes up for this attack. And PuCK is just kind of chilling with a good amount of sentries, warping in some more zealots here. And now he actually is going to know that an attack is impending. Rainbow, a little bit of a miss micro right there. And Rainbow hiding behind the grass right there, going to come in here for an attack, and these zealots are actually really far back, charging in here, and some excellent force fields, but all of the units by Terran are still going to be used because the force fields do not block them, and this is going to be really close actually. I think PuCK might be able to pull out, but oh, I don't know.
Yeah, the Marine and Marauder micro has been very, very good at trying to sneak around and kite these Zealots as much as possible while using other parts of his army to take out just as many sentries as he can. It's looking like this will be cleaned up, but only just barely, and that was an enormous amount of gas that was consumed by PuCK in order to try to make it work, and the aggression is not ending. Rainbow is kind of organizing his units a little bit, stimming again, running right in, trying to target down the charged Zealots as fast as he can once they have used their charge move.
Yeah, he definitely needs to take out those zealots so that he can keep his Marines alive a little bit longer. He doesn't have any medevacs up, so he needs to be really careful about the health of his units. Does not want to lose them, especially when he's got a stim pack that he's going to need to be using. Now we do see another engagement coming in here, and PuCK actually going after the Terran this time. Of course, Rainbow microing back a little bit, and an Immortal out on the field now, so that's definitely going to help when taking out these Marauders. Of course, if Rainbow can continue to stutter step micro like this, he won't have to worry about the Immortal because it's just so slow, and it looks like that's going to be the end of the engagement for now.
Yeah, the supplies have now definitely kind of swapped places. PuCK was noticeably behind while Rainbow had invested in a very large army and was pretty just generally ahead at the start of that previous engagement. But now Rainbow is very noticeably behind. He's taking his 3rd base, but the 3rd base of PuCK is already up. And the Templar Archives has finished with Storm on the way. And so without...
Oh, it looks like we had a bit of this. Okay, I'm sorry. Looks like your Skype's lagging just a little bit. Are you there now? Okay, so we do have a bit of a Skype lag, internet connection problem, guys. I'm sorry about that, but I'll just go ahead and continue to cast for now until we can get Senex back in here. And Skype is most likely going to be able to fix it, so. Alright, so PuCK is just kind of chilling out here. We got 2 Immortals actually and a handful of Zealots. And let's actually look at the economy right now. The harvesters for our Terran player are 48 versus the 58 of PuCK. So Terran's just obviously definitely behind. Their command center is being produced and almost finished, so it's really going to take some just some excellent macro and good unit composition. I think will end up winning this for our Terran player. Otherwise, he could have a lot of trouble. And oh, are you back?
Yes, I am back.
Okay, cool. Is your game where it was?
No, did you pause or?
No, I didn't pause. I continued to cast.
Okay,
Um,
are we at a pause right now, or is everybody listening?
no, it's still going. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, currently I am at 14 minutes and 27 seconds in the game. Where are you at?
I'm actually at the same exact place, so we're good to go.
Alrighty, well sorry for that small bit of technical interruption. How dare Skype that I paid nothing for not work perfectly every time. Moving out through the middle, we see that Rainbow's Bioforce is now supported by a group of medevacs, is moving in. However, Storm is done, and it's mostly just waiting for these High Templars to have the energy, and it looks like they are going to, but no, he's instead loading up for a drop rather than trying to engage that army head-on.
Oh yeah, this is definitely the units, or I'm sorry, the army size of Protoss players that you can split and just do tons of damage. I mean, and that's obviously what Rainbow's trying to do right here. And actually, he might be going for a dual drop right now. It does look like that's what he's doing. He split off some medevacs, and he's actually just chilling out with those until he can get the other group of medevacs into the main base. And I think this will be really effective. Like I said, the composition of Protoss is the one that can be split relatively easily. And we'll just kind of have to see what kind of damage Rainbow does do here.
There was a small bit of harassment that went down in Rainbow's Natural. There was Warp Prism that worked in a couple of Zealots. He got some workers killed. It looks like 12 overall workers have been killed. But as we just look at the units tab, it's only 51 SCVs to 58 probes. So they're very even economically, particularly now that that fourth base has been landed by Rainbow. He is going to want to get out and try to get that saturated, however.
Oh no, and it does look like two dropships are actually going to get sniped by our Protoss player, doing a great job, and Rainbow might be able to hold on to one. Will he hold on to this medevac? Oh, it does look like he will be able to for now. Of course, he will most likely get cleaned up pretty easily. And actually an attack in the natural expansion, as well as the main base going for that economy. Rainbow doing just so much damage right here. We'll lose the army that is in the natural, and he can actually go for the Nexus that's in the main base, but he's instead going for that Templar Archives right there.
Yeah, this amazingly effective triple drop moving into pick-off upgrade, pick-off units as they're trying to be worked in, just to try to spread out the Protoss as much as he possibly can. It's still continuing. They have not actually been cleaned up in either the main or the natural yet. When we look at the workers killed, it's now 34 workers killed by Rainbow to just 12 of his opponent. And the aggression continuing to move in to try to pressure that fourth base while PuCK is desperately trying to clean up his main and natural.
That was just absolutely insane multitasking right there, and that's exactly what we're looking for in FRB. We want to see battles everywhere. Rainbow doing an excellent job there, of course using his Ghost through Brood War skills, no doubt. And wow, these Marauders at the natural are still alive. Finally loses that attack, loses that battle, but actually really just retreated. So such a good job by Rainbow.
There is still another medevac, though. It's kind of posturing around a little bit. The Blinkstalkers will be able to chase it away, though the destructible rocks that do lead into the natural were being worked on for a little bit, and now Rainbow is just taking the opportunity to try to heal up the units there and is sending in the medevac for yet another drop, dropping down a whole bunch of Marines. But in the middle, there's a little bit of an engagement going on around this Xel'Naga Watchtower. Pretty nice storm landing, but only catching a couple of the units in the front, and now it's definitely going to be on Rainbow to try to keep this force alive while getting as much harassment going on in the main and now the natural as well.
Yeah, there's just a ton of damage being done by our Protoss player, and Rainbow actually choosing to retreat right now. Does not want to get eaten alive by the Zealots. Of course, the drop is happening at the natural, and will this Nexus go down? It does look like it is indeed going to go down. Of course, Protoss player is also going for a counter-attack into the main base. Actually, no, he's going to go to the third of our Protoss player where there's a planetary fortress. Going to be forced to retreat because it does not want to lose health to that PF. And Rainbow falling back, raising up his supply depots. Really nice storm there by our Protoss player. But he's going to go ahead and go for this, try to break through this wall. Another great storm right there. Another great storm. Wow, Protoss doing an excellent job in this attack.
Yeah, this is going actually very badly for Rainbow. He's been hit by just devastating storms, even more going down, blanketing the ramp, blanketing the starport for the units that are trying to hang out there, because he has been doing quite well. And actually the drop that was going down in the fourth base as well, also being taken out by just brilliant storm play, really showcasing the benefit of the caster units that are available in FRB games.
Yeah, and actually it does look like Rainbow managed to take out the natural of his Protoss opponent and is now continuing into the main, whereas PuCK is actually doing the same exact thing. So we are seeing a bit of a base trade right here. So many buildings getting taken out by these Immortals, and only some Marines here left to defend, as well as some SCVs. This is looking very grim for actually both players.
Yeah, right now when we look at the income tab, both of them are actually, because it is an FRB game and they have spread out their economy, so they're not as dependent on the current bases that they have, doing moderately well. They're both at about 1,200 resources income per minute with about 200 gas. The orbital that is in the mineral-only base for Rainbow has had several mules dropped on it. It's definitely helping out his economic recovery right there, though it does look like the main and even this third base for PuCK are both being pressured.
Well, so obviously we can see here a ton of barracks are being built over at, I guess, what would be the 5th base of our Terran player, so he's going to be able to restart his unit production, whereas our Protoss player does not have as many gateways, currently producing, or currently will have 5 versus the something like 6 or so of Terran, and actually he hasn't even lost all of the barracks that are in his main. He could very easily lift those off if he wanted to and keep them alive, but I guess kind of just chilling with that.
Yeah, he is making a massive rebuilding effort at this kind of 6th or 5th base, actually, that he has taken a just enormous number of barracks. Looks like 6 barracks that are down right there. And he's throwing on all of the add-ons that he will need to continue reproducing his army, though his opponent is trying to out-expand him, taking a 3rd base across the bottom of the map.
Yes, indeed. So PuCK managing to clean up. Actually, no, not clean up quite yet. Oh, wow, never mind. I was going to say PuCK was going to be able to clean up the attack down at his 3rd base, but Rainbow is just keeping those units alive so well with his excellent micro, picking up units when he needs to and dropping them back down when he has an opportunity. Of course, using that high ground advantage to do any kind of damage that he can do. PuCK is actually going for this far right base with a handful of zealots, and these SCVs are just dying so quickly to these zealots. Finally lifts off that command center, though.
Yeah, it's really going to be up to Rainbow to recover in this new base that he has taken for himself. So I'm very sorry to everybody who's watching, but I need to deliver a little bit of a message to Poll. Right now, the stream is apparently lagging quite a bit. And so if you could do something to kind of potentially like lower the quality or bitrate or something like that, and I will continue casting things while we get the small technical issues worked out. It is Friday the 13th. I totally blame that. That's definitely the reason why this is happening. But as we see, there is now the factory and starport being rebuilt in this kind of new home for Rainbow's nomadic Terran forces. His main base is being taken out, though, and that does have something of a risk. He is not supply capped or even close to it yet, but as all of those supply depots, particularly the ones with the mule drop down, are taken out, that is going to be very difficult for him to recover from. There's a drop going down in the bottom right-hand base of PuCK. I believe this is his 6th base, or maybe 5th, that all of these Marauders are doing a ton of damage and actually being picked up. He doesn't lose a single one there, despite almost all of them being in the red.
Wow.
And right now, Rainbow is moving to take a very aggressive base pretty much directly in front of his opponent.
Well, yeah, he chopped down that orbital command. I guess he just wanted to hurry up and land it as quickly as he could. Now we do see a handful of units getting attacked by our Protoss player. A ton of Marauders here, able to really kill a ton of Zealots, and actually those storms damage the PuCK's own Zealots right there. And Rainbow will be able to clean up that small group of units.
Losing those High Templar is absolutely devastating. There are 4 High Templar, which are just not an easy thing to replace. When we look at the amount of money that our Protoss player has right now, he actually is not mining gas off of anything at the moment. And so those were absolutely irreplaceable units, particularly since they would have recharged their energy to be used again. So right now it is 20 Marauders, 16 Marines, and 2 Medevacs against 14 Zealots, 2 Immortals, and just 1 Archon.
The one thing that is certainly keeping our Protoss player still in the game is the fact that he does indeed have 3 bases. However, Rainbow's play is just so good. His medevac drops are all over the place, and they're really eliminating the effectiveness of having the 3 bases. I mean, PuCK has really only been able to make use of about 2, and in fact, he might end up losing one of them with this huge attack coming from Rainbow.
Because of the drop that went down in the bottom right-hand base that actually brought the Nexus to only about a quarter of its health. Right now, PuCK's army is totally out of position, and it's so easy. Look at how fast that building dropped to 3-3 Marine, or 3-2 actually, Marines and Marauders. All of these probes are being wiped out. Another warp gate is now unpowered, so the production is really only at about 5 warp gates and 1 robo for PuCK. We do now see in the supplies that it's 108 versus 77, though there is a big engagement going on right around the middle.
Oh wow, and actually RainBow dropping some units up there on the high ground, keeping them alive even longer, and PuCK is actually cornered right now. Kind of a scary position to be.
Yeah, he is going to need to find a way to get those units out by taking advantage of that very, very nasty piece of high ground that RainBow is able to drop his units on. All of these melee units, like the Zealots, are completely invalidated, and RainBow is actually moving back to try to kind of merge his forces back together. He has a whole bunch of medevacs with energy that watchtower that can be used to put that army back together, and is now loading up for yet another drop.
Yes, indeed. So, of course, we see here RainBow using that high ground. The Observer finally has come over to the high ground, and PuCK will, well, I was going to say PuCK will be able to clean it up pretty easily, but RainBow is just running away from the ranged units. Oh man, RainBow's micro is just so good.
Unfortunately, though, because that whole army is trying to deal with just that very, very small group of units, RainBow is able to move his entire army all the way around to the right, where right now this fourth, well, actually second now, but it was the like sixth overall base of PuCK is very, very vulnerable, and with a stim and run in, it could be extremely easily sniped.
Alright, so it does look like PuCK is actually cornering RainBow, but of course these medevacs are here, so RainBow just going to be able to lift off his units, and actually PuCK is going to be so out of position right now. If RainBow just drops his units, which he is doing, down to that base, it's going to take PuCK forever to turn back around, and without a doubt he will indeed lose this Nexus.
Yeah, and with those Blink Stalkers, it is going to be a little bit difficult for RainBow to pull away. However, he is ferrying units up onto the high ground, trying to make as much use of that as possible. And, oh no, all of those medevacs full of units actually being targeted down by the Blink Stalkers, though they were only able to get 1. And already we see up at that northern watchtower another big move out from RainBow, just trying to punish his opponent for using his entire army to defend against these little harassment drops.
Yeah, I just cannot believe how good the multitasking by these players is, and just, you know, this game has just been so back and forth. But as we can see here, PuCK, of course, is going in for the base of RainBow, and might indeed be able to take out a lot of units. He is actually killing the ones that are being rallied on move command, but RainBow is doing the same exact thing, so he is going for basically the main base of PuCK. And this is just turning into another base trade. Wow!
Yeah, both of these players committing to try to kill one another off, though I do think that RainBow is going to be able to come out ahead in this particular engagement because he can float his buildings away, but also has 2 more bases on the left and a nice planetary fortress on the right. So it will not be easy for PuCK to just kind of run in and try to take out his bases in the same way that RainBow is now able to snipe that last Nexus. I do think that PuCK is going to be revealed in just a moment, so it will just be down to RainBow finding and killing all the rest of his buildings while he floats his way. Yeah,
and that's the thing, when playing against a Terran player, it is so hard to do base trades unless you're unless you're another Terran player. So,
right.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Right now, PuCK is being revealed and really is attempting to deal with that planetary fortress, but that's going to be a big problem. If that can be mass repaired, it will not be easy for any of the units that he currently has on the field to deal with it. The 2 bases on the left are being attacked at the moment, but the entire force of RainBow is moving in to try to do something about that.
Yeah, I do think that RainBow has had enough of all of these shenanigans. He wants to go in, he wants to kill, and he wants to end this game right now. So it does look like RainBow is moving in here, gets a huge stim right there, and is going for the units up. Gonna get some stutter step micro here by RainBow to kill all of these zealots as best as he can. He does so very successfully, and now all that is left are a handful of probes, 1 or 2 zealots, 2 immortals, a few stalkers, and a dead Archon.
Yeah, and with all of those medevacs healing, it will unfortunately be time for PuCK to GG out of game number 1 between StarTale's RainBow and PuCK.
Wow, I cannot believe how good of a game that was. It was just so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I was extremely impressed with both players' play, particularly Rainbow, considering that he had never actually played on an FRB map before. And he just immediately adjusted to this. He knew that he needed to take a lot of bases to get the income that he wanted. He knew that mobility would be something that he can definitely abuse and try to split his opponent's army apart, and use both of those to just their absolute fullest in order to get himself the win.
Alright, so just so you guys know, I was aware of the lag that was occurring, and I've attempted to fix it, so we'll see how it goes in this game. And I think we're going to go ahead and move on to game number 2. Are you ready to do that?
Absolutely. We will be back in just a moment.